Hi folks, welcome to MTS. Like many in the O-Gauge community, I too flipped through the virtual pages of Lionel's 125th catalog, and probably had the same reaction you did when seeing these amazing sets. One that particularly caught my eye was the Lackawanna Trainmaster FM Postwar Set, number 2522080. This got me to thinking. Lionel has a 125-year legacy. Could I build a similar set using a combination of both post-war and modern Lionel product? First, we'll start with the Fairbanks Morse, or FM, Lackawanna Trainmaster. This is Lionel's 2321 FM Lackawanna Diesel. It was made from 1954 to 1956. Right here in the good old US of A. There were two variations, the gray and the maroon roof. As I understand, the maroon roof is a little harder to come by. Quick search on eBay, someone had a gray roof, similar to the one we have here, with a buy it now of $185 plus $8.55. We'll round that to $200 after taxes. This is one I've had in my collection, but it's been sitting on the shelf for a long time. So let's take it over to the workbench and see what we can do to get this up and running. Back at the workbench, doing a quick inspection. I had weighed this engine and came in at 5.2 pounds, which is pretty impressive. It does have a cosmetic issue. I've got some nickel erosion of some kind that has developed on the one side of the locomotive. As you can see on this side, it's shiny, nice shiny finish, but on this side it's dull and has a powdery feel. Maybe another use for evaporust, but we're not going to mess with that right now. With this model, there's two screws. There's one at this end here, and there's one down here. We're just going to pop those off. There we go. That's pretty simple. Boy, that's clean inside though. Look at that. What's really key is that battery compartment. That so many times over the years, someone will leave their battery in there. It'll end up corroding, and it actually will mess up the fuel tank area. It'll mess the frame up and everything else. But this looks really, really nice. Just got good old pull-more motors on each end. Let's just hook it up, see what we got, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I got my gator clips out. We're going to just kind of clip the ground to the chassis there, and we're just going to clip the positive right to that center pickup. Oh wow, if only you could smell what I'm smelling right now. This is amazing. Oh, that's a solid runner here. I am going to go ahead and pull the truck assembly off the bottom here, just to make sure that we don't have a bunch of dried grease inside of it. May have to put some of my red and tacky grease. I can put that on there just to get a little bit more lubrication. But based on what I'm turning that armature just with my thumb, and it just turns like butter. It's just a flathead screw on the bottom here. We'll just go ahead and remove. Yeah, it's pretty dry in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me zoom in here a little bit. It has a little lubrication, but I'm going to go ahead and pack that with that red and tacky grease that I've been using, just to make sure that we don't have any other issues. just going to pack that down in there with a toothpick. And add some grease to the worm gear. Okay, now I'll get that back together. And we'll resecure the screw here. Okay, and again we're going to spin the armature. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the other truck assembly, and I'll bring it back right after that. So I was just finishing up the back, and there's just looking at it, I mean, all of these are metal gears. So you have a nice, believe that's a brass gear in the middle of that. You have a metal gear on the side here. That's just reason why it's still running today. That's good quality product. Okay, and again, I'm just going to spin the armature. Spins freely, looking good. Back it back out of here. Next up, I'm going to just put a little, just some hobby oil on the axles and this on the shaft for this gear in the middle here. That's great. Okay. We'll get the shell back on. We're ready for the next piece. Next, I'm going to use a couple of original post-war freight cars. So first we have the New York Central gondola. It's the 6462. I believe this is the painted variation. But I was also able to find a bag of barrels. So that'll look really good in this train set. And then I also have the 6517 Lionel lines. This is the bay window radio equipped caboose. I was able to find comparable buy it now listings for the gondola. I saw one for, I'll just show it right here. It's like $15 plus shipping. So we'll just put this one at $30. And then for the caboose, surprisingly, it was about $30. Was the one I found that I'm going to show here, and it had $15 shipping. So we'll just round that one up to $45. Next up is the Rutland boxcar with rail sounds. I've found that Lionel made a Rutland boxcar with diesel rail sounds in 1991. The folks over at Trains with a Z had one of these for $80 all in. I already had the New York Central version with the diesel sounds. Number on this is 16650. So in this case, I'm just going to swap the shells. So we'll start by removing just a single screw. And this will be the same for the New York Central as well. It's just a single screw. Comes out of there. And it's got these two teeth at the back. There we go. That just pulls right out. that screw. This is the one we're going to keep. There we go. Just reinstall the Rutland. Just like that. There we go. Just put our screw back in place. There we have it. Diesel Railsounds Rutland boxcar. Finally, we have the post-war milk car. This one's 36621. I think it's also identified as 3662. Set in the catalog, though, has this as a Hot Box Reefer. So this is the one that's going to require just a little bit of modification. Basically, I'm going to swap the Santa Fe Hot Box Reefer. I'm going to swap the shell out. And we're just going to swap these two shells, and then I'll have a automatic refrigerated boxcar 3662 Hot Box Reefer. So first we're going to go ahead and remove the shell off of the Santa Fe Hot Box refrigerator car. This is actually from 2005. This is the 29812. Again, these are pretty available on eBay. I was able to find the one that I'm going to show here. I think it was like $65 plus. We'll go ahead and remove the two screws on each end. And then we're going to separate the chassis from the shell. And here we go. There are a couple of brass grommets at each end. This is for support. The shell of both of these refrigerator cars are actually two pieces, but you want to make sure you don't lose those two grommets. Now that we have the shell removed, we'll go ahead and remove the shell from the post-war milk car. Again, just the same two screws. Okay, go ahead and separate the shell. As stated earlier in the video, this car is going to require just a couple of small modifications. As you can see, the shells are very similar. There are the two posts on each side, just part of the mold. We're going to have to cut those back probably about a 1/4 inch on each side to allow for the speaker housing. Also, you can see on the orange there's actually a cutaway to allow for the smoke unit where we put the smoke fluid. So if I can show you right here, you can see where that's cut away on this model. And when we look at the post-war, you can see that's solid. So what we're going to have to do is actually cut that section out of that to allow for the smoke unit. So here I have my cutting wheel on my small Dremel tool. You can see I can't get in at the top from the top at that angle. However, I can just cut out a small line. Again, we're not going very far, maybe about a 1/2 inch between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch. So we'll go ahead and cut that out right here. And finishing this cut. There we go. I'm going to use a pair of side cutters and just kind of go in here, and that's how we're going to cut right there along the main. There you go. You can see right there. Just going to squeeze that. There. Perfect. Now I'll just take a just clean this out a little bit. It's got a little bit of residue from where we just cut. But you can see we've got a really good, nice clean area for that smoke unit to fit in there and be all set. Setting the shell back on the body of the new Hot Box Reefer, we still have to cut out those two posts at the other end. So we're going to separate where that body goes on top of that assembly. Just kind of make sure that everything lines up. You can see we've got nice straight lines here. Now with the shell in place, I'm going to take my Sharpie and just mark right on top of the speaker housing where that post is on both sides. With the shell removed, you can see where we've marked. We're going to actually just take the Dremel cutting wheel and just cut right below where where I made the mark on the Sharpie with the Sharpie. Here you want to really be careful. You don't want to go too far into that post. You want to get it right on the edge, so we're not going into the body on the outside. We don't want this cutting wheel to go all the way through. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just cut right here. Insert Dremel tool noise. There we go. And again, I'm going to take the side cutters and just cut right along the bottom, just to remove this piece right here. And again, make sure you have your safety glasses for this. Go ahead and give it a squeeze. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clean this up with a small sanding wheel on the Dremel tool, and we'll get that nice and flush. Okay, we'll go ahead and insert that sanding wheel. And again, we're just wanting to make sure this is nice and smooth on the inside. And there we go. Again, we'll do that to the other side as well. And I'll bring it right back. Now that we have the modifications completed, we'll go ahead and attach the shell back to the Hot Box Reefer chassis. There we go. And you'll notice with these refrigerator cars, in the corners are angles. It's actually part of the mold. Those angles actually rest on top of the chassis. So here you can see how it's a solid piece in the very corner, and those rest right here on the chassis. And this is the case for the new refrigerator car as well. You can see the orange is solid in the corner. Now I'll go ahead and put the shell back on with the modifications in place. You can see we got good clearance here on for the smoke unit. And you can see we also have where that cut those posts out. Nice clean even lines on the bottom. As long as that shell, again, those corners rest on that chassis, we're good to go. So now we'll put the brown roof assembly. Go ahead and put that hatch in place first, and then we can go ahead and just get that through and connect the roof to the rest of the car. And now we can go ahead and put that screw back in this one end. So we'll just get it started here. And then we'll go to the other end. Want to make sure that we got that hatch still in place. There we go. And now we'll put the other screw in. And we'll go ahead and tighten this one down. Again, just snug. Don't want to over tighten it and crack the shell. Snug this one as well. And there we have it. Postwar automatic refrigerated milk car with the Hot Box chassis. Oh, this is great. So there we have it. This is our 2321 FM Trainmaster from between 1954 and 1956. We have our Rutland Diesel Railsounds boxcar from 1991. We have a original post-war New York Central gondola 6462 with the barrels. Have a hybrid automatic refrigerated boxcar number 3662 that's been modified to accept the chassis of a Hot Box Reefer. And finally, the post-war bay window Lionel Lines caboose. Okay, let's get some laps around the layout.
Taking road pass.
One of the drawbacks to running a hot box refrigerated car in conventional mode is I couldn't get the power high enough to be able to actually complete the sequence. So I actually had to remove the locomotive and the Railsounds car here in this take just to get the smoke unit to work properly. Well, there you have it, folks. Had a lot of fun putting this set together using both Lionel Postwar and Modern products. I'm sure the new Postwar Trainmaster set and Lionel's 125th anniversary catalog will be nothing short of amazing. There are plenty of options in this great hobby. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the line.